This Hangout on air is now live across the board. Welcome, everybody. This is Matt Monarch with the Raw Food World. We are live on Facebook. We are live on Google Hangouts, and we're about to rock the house for the next 2 hours. And there's my baby girl, Araya. Oh, yeah. I think I'm just going to chill here for a second until a few more viewers come on. All right, here we go. Ding-a-ding-dong, ding-a-ding-a-dong. All right, now we're live. Now it's clicking up. Bada-bing, bada-boom, bada-boom. Welcome, everyone. This is Matt Monarch with the Raw Food World, coming at you from Vilcabamba, Ecuador. We're about to have a fun night tonight. Yes. And just for those of you that are just tuning in, we have picked the contest winners from the July promotion, June-July promotion, and it will be announced maybe next week's Hangout. Maybe we'll do it then. Someone's going to win a stone grinder. Someone's winning an Excalibur dehydrator. Someone's winning some Kinty Central, a grip load of supplements, books, and things like this. 100 winners coming soon to a Hangout near you. My food processor is making noises. All right, turn you off. So here we go, everybody. You guys ready to rock this house tonight? I know I am. If you want to ask questions, simply do so in two places now. At news.therawfoodworld.com/live, or you can go to my Facebook profile page, join in on this live chat, and straight out ask on Facebook. So you got two options now. And here we go. By the way, December retreat is going to be awesome. It's filling up. It's about halfway full right now. Okay. Raw for Health writes, Matt, not sure what's happening when you schedule with YouTube. It shows up lately like 5 times on my subscribe list. Oh, well, that's kind of cool. I don't do anything to let me know per each meeting. Oh, maybe because it's a Hangout versus like a regular video, maybe something else happens. FYI. Also, where is Rod DeLuca? Rod DeLuca, where did you go? No more videos since he left you. Missing those, told him already. Thanks. What's up, Vanessa Valencia? Would love to hear Arai speaking in Spanish. It's really interesting. We're going to talk about Rod DeLuca in a second. It's really interesting, Vanessa. We were here in Vilcabamba, Ecuador for the first 3 years. What's up, Christy? 3 years. For the first 3 years, Araya was living here in Vilcabamba, Ecuador. I think until she was 3.5 years old. She was 3.5. In the first 2 years of her life, at one point she was speaking better Spanish than English. And then it flipped. And then at about 3.5 years old, we went to the States for 7 months. And then we came back to Ecuador and she lost it all. She doesn't speak any Spanish now. She doesn't even, she's beginning to pick it up more and more again, being around all of the helpers here. Lori Marciano Rhodes, I now know how to pronounce where you live. That's awesome. So if I got her out here, she wouldn't even do it. Okay. So where is Raw DeLuca? The question is, Raw for Health asks. That's a good question. I don't know. He hasn't posted any videos, Raw for Health is saying. She misses them. I wonder what's going on with him. Raw DeLuca, where are you? Tell us. For those of you that don't know, Raw DeLuca came to our December retreat. His name is David. And then after the retreat, he turned into Raw DeLuca. He had diabetes, gout. He was on 25 prescription drugs. He had acid reflux. He had blood coming out of every orifice. He was way overweight. He had depression, suicidal thoughts, high blood pressure. Oh, neuropathy issues with, you know, all that stuff from diabetes. And it was like his last chance. He felt like he was going out. So he's like, I'm coming to this raw food retreat. Within the first week, he healed from diabetes. First 2 weeks, he healed from diabetes. He came 2 weeks early to the retreat, went 100% raw. I believe that he's still 100% raw as we speak. In 30 days, he lost 36 pounds. His blood sugar went to normal. His blood pressure went to normal. His depression left. His gout left. His acid reflux left. He went from 24 pharmaceutical pills a day down to 2. And I don't even know how many he's on now. If you go to our YouTube channel, you will be dumbfounded by the before and after. The very first video we did with him, when the night before he went, actually that night he went and drank a lot of his last drinks, tequila, oh no, it was vodka maybe, ate some crap. You should have saw him the very first morning that he started this. I wish I had that on video. Anyway, have him when he first got here on video, how he was a mess. And then we have him on the very last day of the retreat when he was leaving. And the difference is just like mind-boggling. It's like a completely different person. It was almost like there was a blurredness over him. And then all of a sudden he's like, bing, like ready to go. So you could go to our YouTube channel and see this profound transformation that David DeLuca, now Raw DeLuca, you could go check out his YouTube channel, he's totally healed from diabetes, and it was bad. Couldn't even like walk. Now he's like walking like crazy amounts. I'll email him and see what's up. Okay. Very proud of DeLuca, Vanessa writes. Okay, Claire writes, Matt, your hair looks so fantastic lately. So full and healthy. I am jealous. Thank you. Okay, it just so happens that today I did some stuff on had to do some photos. What's up, Tanisha? I washed my hair for the first time in a month or so. Anyways, so what I've been doing differently with my hair, for those of you that want to know, is what was happening. Went to CSUN with you. What's up, Christine? I gotta like push your profile to like see you more because I can't, it's like a very small little thing here. That's awesome, Christine. Okay, so what happened was I usually wash my hair every 2 months, 3 months. Lately it's been every month, 2 to 3 months. What's up, Lori from Florida? Hey, Christine. Anyways, and I would never get it cut. And then what started to happen was every time I would wash my hair, you know, every time you wash your hair, especially with long hair, you've got like a ball of hair in your hands. But anyways, it was really thick up here and then really thin here. So what I started to do was I started to have my hair trimmed. And I don't go to barbers because what they do is when they trim, they're just gonna trim it right here and it pisses me off. So what I do is I literally cut my own hair. I don't let anyone else touch it. And because I just want to cut off just the smallest amount, and I just did it recently, to where it's just trimmed. Tanny Raw wants my hair, Lori says. Okay, so what started to happen was when I started to trim my hair, it started to grow faster, and then this started going down, 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 and my hair kept going thicker and thicker and thicker, and I was cutting it every 3 months. And I finally, for the first time, got to the very end bit where I got it off. ZBT parties with Jeff Baum days. I know. All right, let's look at Christine's let me look really close at Christine. I know about ZBT. Okay, for those of you that don't know, I used to be in a fraternity. I can't look at your profile. And but I could go on Facebook here. Back in the day, see what happens is now that I was only using Google Live, and now that we're sitting here on Facebook, oh, this sucks. I deleted my cookies and now I can't get into Facebook without some sort of stupid security check. So now, like, all my old school friends, all the elementary school to the ZBT fraternity days are watching me on Hangout. They probably just pop by for a minute or so to see what's up, and it's probably cool. Hey, Crystal, can you email me my Facebook login information? Or not email it to me, Skype it to me so I can take a look. Okay, so back to this raw food hangout. So, okay, no, that's not it. Here we go. Okay. What's up, Shazzy? Shazzy has joined the Hangout. Shazzy is a raw pioneer from the United Kingdom. Okay. Jenna writes, hi, Matt. How many carrots do you juice in a day? Making raw cookies love making raw cookies with the pulp. Okay, if you guys look over here, we've got 2 Norwalk juicers. One's got a red towel over it, and the other one's just right there. The best juicer on the planet. What I do, I'll show you right now. This is what we serve the juices in at the raw food retreats. Right here is carrot celery. I feel like it's one of the most gentle. This is probably half carrot, half celery. And then, so I have 3 of these made a day. And I have one with half carrot and wild greens from our garden. We're talking nettles, alfalfa, dandelion, whatever you can think of. And they're all probably half carrot. And generally, different how many I drink per day. But I would probably say 3. So that's like 16 plus 8. It would be 24 ounces per day. Shazzy misses us, guys. Oh, Shazzy, we miss you too. Okay. Maisie writes, Rod DeLuca just posted a video a few hours ago, says he is still losing weight. Everyone's going to be able to see it before me. So if you're just tuning in, Rod DeLuca, he is still going strong. He came to a raw food retreat 2 weeks early and then stayed through the raw food retreat. He healed from diabetes in 2 weeks. He healed from acid reflux, gout, blood pressure is normal, went from 25 pharmaceutical pills to 2. Maybe he's at 0 now, I don't even know. But he just posted a video, he's still losing weight. Go to my YouTube and type in, go to YouTube and type in Matt Monarch. You can see his earlier videos of him at the retreat. And you can see his latest video at Raw DeLuca. So there you go. Exciting, I can't wait to watch it. Okay. Okay. Raw DeLuca put a couple new videos up. It seems he got sick from drinking water in keto, and then he got the Zika virus. Dave, you're probably watching this. Okay, so now someone else writes, Rod DeLuca, everyone knows everything. Rod DeLuca got sick from water in Acapulco, and then he got the Zika virus. Dude, like everyone is, Rod DeLuca has a video out today. Check it out, love Rick. That's awesome. Who told you, Dave, that you have the Zika virus? That's what I want to know. It's all, you get sick, and then people tried to title it. Me and Dave were right when he left, he got to keto and he got sick. And he says it was from the water there. And then, like, you know, all the mind starts going and this and that. And then he probably went somewhere. And now they're saying he has the Zika virus because he's trying to rationalize, saying, why is this happening? I'm on raw food. Oh, it must be this. No. I'm not going to get into that right now. Okay. So Raw DeLuca is in Acapulco. He said he was going there before he went home. He wanted to lose a crazy amount of weight until then. All right. So it looks like, oh, here we go. And hey, Crystal, email me the link of Christine. Maybe I could tell a story or something after I log in. Oh, dude, forget it. I'm not going into Facebook right now. There's too many steps. Okay. So make sure if you guys want to ask questions, I've already answered all the questions on Facebook and on Google Hangout, the Raw Food World, news.therawfoodworld.com/live. So ask your questions if you want more. I can talk about a few other things while you guys think about this. Firstly, I'd like to announce is we are revamping our website, our internal structure. It's 1 to 2 months out. Back orders are never going to happen again, or very, very rarely. 99% of the time, it's never going to happen. It's going to be, everything is going to be extremely accurate. All the glitches, everything like this, zilch. It's being revamped as we speak. So we're talking 1 to 2 months, which is great news. Okay, so Maddie writes, hi, Matt. How much fat do you recommend a person eats a day? For example, what percentage of calories or how many grams? Does it vary for men or women? Does it matter? Okay. Okay, firstly, I never count anything. I just do, always. And so what Maddie is asking is, how much fat per day should a person eat? And this is completely different for everyone, of course. And it's also completely different, like what kind of fats? Are you on a 100% raw food diet? Are you on a cooked whole foods diet? Or are you eating standard American diet food and eating trans fatty acids? That was my little bug in the tropics here in Vilcabamba, Ecuador. So Sabina Ray, the little ones are doing extremely well. They're in bed. Or I might pop out because she likes to run away from bed sometimes when they're going to bed. So real quickly, there's a lot of misconception when it comes to eating fat. Okay, in the natural realm, we're not talking raw food realm, in the natural health food realm, a lot of the natural doctors, all the famous ones that you see, are recommending a very high fat diet. And they're not talking just raw food, they're talking about fat in general. And okay, so there's been a lot of battle going on with mainstream in terms of saying healthy fats are not really good for you, such as like coconut oil because it's monosaturated, and different things like that. So what many of these doctors are saying is that it is critical for long-term health to eat more of a high-fat diet in compared to a high-carb sugar diet. Now, keep in mind, in this realm that we're talking about, refined sugars and processed starches, which are two of the most damaging foods to the human body, is what most people are eating. The average American is eating 12 to 24 teaspoons of sugar a day, refined sugar, white sugar, they're empty calories with 0 micronutrients inside of them. So pretty much it's just addicting. And supposedly sugar is 8 times more addicting than cocaine when they do like the brain testing sensors and stuff like this. And is one of the most damaging foods to the human body. So what they're saying is refined sugars and processed starches, gluten, is one of the reasons why America is so sick, and one of the reasons why 1 in 3 elderly end up with Alzheimer's today. And so what is being recommended is a high fat diet, healthy fat. We're not talking grease food, oxidized cholesterol. We're not talking about trans fatty acids like canola oil or hydrogenated oils or all those things. We're talking about healthy cooked whole foods. Eggs are one of the most nutritious foods in the world. And then there's this whole entire cholesterol aspect that is thrown in all this. Food cholesterol, cholesterol that you can get from food, people have been saying is not good for the human body, which studies show that it has nothing to do with your cholesterol levels. The body makes 3,000 milligrams of cholesterol every single day within the body. If you eat more cholesterol, cholesterol levels go up. If you eat more cholesterol levels, you don't produce as much. So there's been like this huge mix-up. So what these health doctors are saying is healthy fats from eggs and good cholesterol is actually good for the human body, because cholesterol is a precursor to vitamin D, progesterone, estrogen, testosterone, and cortisol, stress. It's like the stress hormone right there. So it actually aids the human body. And they're stating that when you start eating primarily fat, you are developing more ketones, and then your brain gets energy from that type of thing. And they've even cited that there is a pharmaceutical drug for Alzheimer's where it creates extra ketones in the human body, so your brain actually starts fueling off of that. And supposedly it slows down the Alzheimer's process. So they're saying high fat and not worrying about good carbs is actually key. And then they're saying that people with on statin medications that brings cholesterol down is actually quite dangerous, because what it does is if someone is on statin medications, it is stated that they have a 44% higher chance of getting diabetes. And when a person has diabetes, that in turn raises their chances of Alzheimer's by 2 times. And furthermore, there have been studies showing that the elderly with the higher cholesterol levels are less likely to have Alzheimer's. I think the number was something crazy like 70% or something like that. So there's a lot of stuff going on with this whole entire fat and cholesterol thing that many people have been misinformed about. And so when we're dealing with refined sugars and processed starches, which are the most damaging foods to the human body, these are carbs, it would be better to be eating healthy fats, which is absolutely amazing and tastes good. Eggs. So real quickly, as I stated, the body produces 3,000, I think it was milligrams of cholesterol every day. If you eat more cholesterol, your body produces less. The amount of cholesterol that the human body produces on a daily basis would equal 14 eggs. And I think it's something like 30 strips of bacon. It's just like crazy numbers here. And again, cholesterol is a precursor to cortisol, progesterone, testosterone, estrogen, and vitamin D. It actually helps with the brain too in many aspects. All right. So I'm a big fan of fat too. I'm not saying like go crazy with fat, because I know people, there's the ketogenic diet. A lot of people recommend the ketogenic diet, even these doctors, and it can be a very beneficial thing. But then people go a little bit too far with it. They're eating like bars of butter, amounts of fat, and things like this. Okay. David Johnson writes, "Love you, Matt. Tanya and I can't wait. Have a good hangout." They're coming to the December retreat, everybody, which is very soon. It's going to be awesome. We actually have Elena Love coming to chef the retreat. She has an entire academic program on teaching people how to prepare raw food. The very first festival I went to, like 18 years ago, the first raw food festival when I first jumped into this thing, she was preparing food there. She's been in this for a very long time. She's been doing food demos every day at the retreat. It's going to be a professional, academic learning experience on raw food preparation at this next December raw food retreat. I highly recommend coming to it. Is there concern with BPH, I think you mean BPA, in scratched plastics, even if it's BPA free? People seem to be freaking out with blender containers. Nah, I wouldn't be freaking out about blender containers. What's up, Susan from West Palm Beach, Florida? Okay. BPA, phthalates, all these other things are chemicals that we can eat from plastic. I wouldn't worry about your blenders. Maybe you're talking, maybe BPH is another chemical compound that I'm not aware of yet. But there are issues with phthalates and BPA. If consumed in high quantities, you don't have to worry about a blender, like a Vitamix or a Blendtec. But if you consume them in high quantities, it's been shown to impact many different, like your reproductive abilities. It could do some stuff with children, all these other fear things that we don't want to really get too deep into. And we don't have to worry about it too much, but we just want to be careful in what we're doing. One of the main sources of this BPA and phthalates is from animal protein products. And as people know, I always recommend a cooked whole foods diet, which includes fish, chicken, turkey, eggs, goat's milk products. But we've got to be extremely careful with what kinds of animal products we eat. For example, there's this new FDA warning label on that they just started creating because there's warnings they have to give warnings. If you go to the grocery store, there's a new thing called mechanically tenderized meat, and what this is what they do is they take prongs, like a bunch of pins, and this is like the stiff meat, and they kind of just like hit it really hard to make it more soft and stuff like that, and they call it mechanically tenderized. And what happens is like these pins push go into the meat, and bacteria can be pushed inside further into the meat. The meat isn't cooked as well for some people, so this can cause issues. Also, these machines, there's just thoughts, there's no proof or anything. They're probably difficult to clean, and maybe they're not cleaning it perfectly. If there's stuff on the outside, if there's stuff on the outside of the meat and it's mechanically tenderized, it's being pushed in, and it's just, the FDA is obviously putting a warning label on it for some particular reason. There have been 10 E. coli, there was a study showing 10 E. coli breakouts, and half of them were from tenderized meat, mechanically tenderized meat. So, for example, you probably want to stay away from that. Cow's milk that you buy at the grocery store is loaded with phthalates, which can cause issues. Farmed fish, there's all sorts of dioxins and chemicals, mercury. It's almost like a factory. You know how they do like factory farms with like cows, stuff like that? It's the same thing with fish. And what's going on in that industry is pretty ugly, and you want to stay away from it. You want to be getting animal protein from grass-fed. If you can find a local farmer, that's the best way to go. Goat's milk products are really good. When they're doing cow's milk and they're pumping it through those tubes, lots of phthalates are being sucked in and stuff like this. There have been studies on that. So it's just important not to freak out about any of this type of stuff, but it's just important to like try to get, the grass-fed, there's even green-fed animal protein and things like this. Wild salmon from Alaska is supposedly one of the best, cleanest things available. Just, you gotta like start doing research on that type of stuff. And it's always best to buy locally near like farmers. You know what's going on there. Okay, here we go. Kimberly Wagner asked me if there's any thoughts on coffee enemas. Me personally, I've never done a coffee enema. I haven't done enemas in 2 years. I've told the story many times. Water is what's needed to bring into the colon and bring out the waste. Supposedly, coffee dilates the liver, creating excess toxins to be released, but I honestly don't think, I'm not a fan of them. What's up, Susan? What would be the best book to read on raw food for small children? How small? It's kind of a, I know Victoria Batinko wrote some kids books. I think we have them on our website about raw food. But what's the goal here? Just to like, you know, oh, fruits are good, or you want to like be like, you know, teach them about hey, raw food is so good and why the other stuff isn't so good. Thanks, Karen. She says I look healthy. Bethany Clark says 5 years. 5 years what? Okay. Maddie writes, thanks for answering my last question. I have another one if you don't mind. Please ask questions. We're running out of questions here. We don't want to call it an early night, do we? Good hair day. Thanks, Lavola. We were talking about this earlier in the Hangout. Okay. I have another one. Okay. My red blood cell count is low. Do you know why that might be and how to get it back up healthfully? Sorry, guys. Gotta put my Skype on. Do not disturb. That's kind of a difficult one. That'd be like someone saying, why do I have diabetes? Why do I have this? Why do I have that? You gotta like, are you eating processed foods? Are you eating refined sugars and processed starches? I have a challenge for anybody. Eliminate refined sugars and processed starches and start eating eggs or something like this that supposedly raises your cholesterol beyond health levels and watch your cholesterol go down. The cause of most of this nonsense that we are dealing with is from refined sugar, processed starches, and trans fatty acids and oxidized foods, oxidized cholesterol, which is fried foods. Eliminate those and you're fine. You could have chicken, fish, turkey, eggs, goat's milk products, goat's milk, goat's cheese. Dude. Now they're calling me on my Facebook Hangout. Okay. Okay, we're back. Good. Okay, so beans, baked potatoes, all of these healthy whole foods. Replace the Fruit Loops for eggs. Replace the hamburger for a salad with animal protein inside of it. It's easy. And then in the long run, God willing, if you're on a cooked whole foods diet, eating all of these different things that I'm mentioning, which many people is a whole food diet, you will end up, God willing, void of pharmaceutical drugs, which 80% of people are probably relying on them when they become older. Won't end up senile, like 1 in 3 of the elderly, won't end up incapacitated. All of these different things. It's like insurance in the bank, not becoming senile in the long run. We want to eat a cooked whole foods diet. So why your red blood cells might be up, probably because you're not eating ideally. There's been this new study showing that Hispanics are living longer than everybody else. And the question is why? There was this one doctor kind of like going through all those studies and trying to figure it out, and he came up with a conclusion, which I think is actually right. One of the reasons why refined sugars and processed starches are not good for the human body. One reason is gluten, which is part of which is part of bread. Most of the breads out there. Processed starches, if you're eating tortillas, croissants, all of the processed starches, bread, the majority of bread, white bread, egg bread, all of these different types of breads. Pasta is like a gluten nightmare. You could eat brown rice pasta. That's on a cooked whole food diet. You can have all the brown rice you want. But all of these other things contain gluten, among other things. And gluten has something in it called gliadin. And what gliadin does is in the human body, there's a molecule called zonulin that is naturally produced in the human body to where it aids the colon to absorb nutrition and other things that need to be absorbed. And zonulin opens the cell walls of the colon. And what happens is when you start to eat high levels of gluten, excess zonulin is being produced, opening the colon cell walls even more. And then other foreign matter, such as bacteria and food particles, can enter into the system, causing all sorts of chaos. And this is like the end product is leaky gut syndrome. And then all of a sudden, like your immune system goes crazy, your liver gets overburdened. They see a food item that's not supposed to be there, it becomes a foreign invader, then you have these food sensitivities to those foods. Your liver has to deal with all these other things. Then all of a sudden candida can come into play. This is all because of the gut. And the gut health is extremely important. And it's very easy to have healthy gut health. But we don't do it. The first step is to eliminate refined sugars and processed starches. And then the second step is to eat cooked whole foods and raw foods on an ongoing basis. Because what happens is when you eat fiber, like healthy fiber, which most Americans are eating zero of, and we're getting into why Latinos live extremely long. What happens is when you eat fiber, it encourages natural fiber from raw foods, beans. Beans are healthy cooked whole food. Garbanzo beans, whatever you want. I've even heard canned garbanzo beans doing this. When you eat fiber like this, what happens is let's say you eat 1 gram of food that is healthy fiber, 2 grams of poo comes out of you. Why is this? Because it supports the beneficial bacteria and they replicate like crazy, trillions and trillions, and most of the stuff coming out of you half of it is the beneficial bacteria in your body that's been reproduced. And what also happens is when you're feeding the bacteria like this, not only do they replicate and help the body a lot more, but they also produce short chain fatty acids, which help protect the lining of the intestines. It helps feed the cells. It closes the permeable areas of the colon. It is one of the reasons why other countries have a 50 times less rate of colon cancer compared to the USA. The person who's eating fast food every day, that 1 piece of lettuce on the burger might be saving them on one level because they're getting some natural fiber. So there's also something called resistant starches. Resistant starches. For example, if you're to take a banana, a green banana that's not ripe, or a mango that's not ripe, this is called a resistant starch. And the body doesn't digest it. And it goes all the way through to the colon, and then it's just straight fiber. And then all of a sudden the colon, the beneficial bacteria go nutso over it, and you produce crazy amounts of beneficial bacteria, crazy bunches of this short chain fatty acids and so on. And it can be extremely beneficial. Now Latinos, online was showing all of these different reasons, what the possibilities of why Latinos could be living long, and he kind of debunked them all. And he thinks the reason is because they're eating beans, which is a resistant starch to the digestive system, and it feeds the gut and so on, producing beneficial bacteria and all that other stuff. So I've never really got into this much because first off, many Americans don't even eat real fiber. So they're completely void of beneficial bacteria. And then this creates all sort of ruckus in the human body. So when we start eating cooked whole foods on an ongoing basis, and it also shows studies, if a person eats beans one day and they eat the standard American diet the rest of the day, they eat it for 3 days straight, they get a boost in the beneficial bacteria, but if they stop, then all of a sudden it's gone again. So it's like on an ongoing basis, we want to be eating cooked whole foods. And this is really good for beneficial bacteria. And so it's key in the long run to avoid refined sugars and processed starches for ultimate health in the long run. It's almost like, is it worth building up that money in the bank for later on in life? And something else interesting that I was thinking about is when a lot of people struggle, they want to do this type of lifestyle, but they don't succeed a lot of the time. What happens a lot of the time is a person eliminates refined sugar and processed starches from their intake and trans fatty acids, and then they don't feel good. They've eliminated it. And as I stated earlier, refined sugar is extremely addictive, 8 times more addictive than cocaine. So it's almost like you go through a down, and it's like an ongoing down, it feels like. You have ups and downs, but this is what's going on. And it's like, something's wrong with me, people think. They worry. They want to do this healthy, and they worry. And then they go online, on the internet, every disease is documented, all the symptoms for all the diseases, and people freak out when they see all the different types of symptoms. They'll see fibromyalgia symptoms or Lyme disease symptoms or thyroid symptoms, and they're worried that they have a thyroid disorder because they have mood swings, they're fatigued, they feel like they're overweight, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Everybody thinks they're overweight. When these symptoms are normal, this is our human body. It needs rest, it needs sleep, it needs replenishment. And what happens is, for example, me personally, I was fatigued the other day. Today, I had so many mood swings, like literally today. You wouldn't want to have been in my house today. I could go on the internet and look at all these symptoms that is natural for everyone in the world to experience because it is the human body. This is our vehicle. It goes through ups and downs. It needs replenishment. It needs sleep. It needs rest and all these other things. There's times where I'm like, I have crazy gas. I smell bad. I've got zits. Other weird breakouts are happening. And I'm sitting here like, I could literally go online and say, oh, might have this issue. And then I freak out. Da, 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 da. So you eliminate refined sugars and processed starches. You think you're going to feel good. You will, but there's always ups and downs. And then the ups aren't like blitzed, I'm high on drugs or sugar high. It's just like a regular everyday, oh, I actually feel good and I'm not suffering. And when we feel good, the time goes by really quick. But then when we feel like crap, like for example, if I'm having something weird is going, have little breakouts, or I'm like, I smell or something's going on, it feels like it's forever. Oh no, something's wrong with me. Maybe I should take this product, or I read this article from this doctor, or I should do this or that. No, it's natural. The body does this. It's okay. Enough's enough. So you do the refined sugar thing, you eliminate it, and then what happens is you decide to, I don't want to say cheat, but you decide to, like, you're at a family thing, or you decide you go to the refrigerator and you eat some ice cream or some processed food, refined sugar, something that's really good that you're like craving. And then you eat it, and then what happens is this regular feeling, all of a sudden you're like, bring! You're on a high now. What this does when you eat that refined sugar is it stops the withdrawal effect. For example, if a coffee drinker or a heroin addict or a cocaine addict stops, they're going through shakes and they want their fix. If they eat heroin, it's like, oh, it stops the withdrawals. And that feels so good. Like, oh. And that, the withdrawals is one of the reasons why we feel like something's wrong with us. And then on top of that, it completely stimulates you to where you're flying. And then you're like, oh, I feel good. There's nothing wrong with me. But then the refined sugar is like a boom spike and then a boom again. And then there's something wrong with you again. Oh, let's do the sugar. And then you're in this loop. Now the sugar doesn't do anything for you because you're eating it continually again. So it's like this ongoing battle. And it feels really good to eat the processed foods. It makes you feel healthy again because you have energy, stimulated your. So it's just kind of like recognizing this and fighting through it. All right, let's look here. All right, we got lots of questions now. Okay. So why exactly are you raw? If you believe in cooked whole foods, is it a spiritual thing? Please elaborate. Great question. Okay, first of all, it was a spiritual thing for me, and it is a spiritual thing for me. It's almost like addicting. It's like when you do this for a very long period of time, you eliminate everything from your diet but raw foods, which I don't recommend. But for most people, if you can do it, all power to you. But there's a lot of downs and ups when you do this. It's extreme. It's one of the reasons why a lot of raw foodies are a little bit wacky, like me. But anyways. Okay, so it's not a matter of what I believe in. It's a matter of trying to help people. The people are eating refined sugars and processed starches, and trans fatty acids, things that are causing diabetes, leaky gut syndrome, candida. We're going to talk about candida in a whole hangout in the future. All sorts of different ruckuses in the human body. And when you eliminate that, a person heals. If you look at all of these different doctors that are famous on the internet, the one thing that everybody has in common is they say eliminate processed foods. This is the backbone of the entire industry. All the supplements, everything else doesn't even matter. Everyone is teaching this core thing because it works. And then everyone can vomit and regurgitate all their brain crap on you. Whatever their beliefs are, even me, I'll do the same. But who gives a crap about that? It's all about eliminating the crap from your diet to give you a better life in the long run and spiritual life at the same time. So what I'm teaching people, for example, Christine here, who I can't see her on Facebook, was in ZBT fraternity with me. You think she's eating a raw food or cooked whole foods diet? Maybe, but you know what? I see my friend Jason Lupus here. I'm gonna read what he says in a second. Best friend since 3rd grade. I've been trying to tell him to do this for ages. But most people watching this, the raw food realm is minute. And it's like, if I want to reach people, we got to go cooked whole foods. And to be honest with you, it's probably even a healthier diet in many cases compared to a raw food diet. For example, if a person were to eat eggs, if I were to go off raw foods, which I've not done, I would probably, if I were to go and have cooked foods for strictly nutrition purposes, I would eat 100% raw food with eggs. And then I'd be getting everything I need, I feel like. It has the B12, it has the DHA, it has all of the other good stuff. My daughter eats them. Of course, if you're gonna do eat eggs, you wanna go to get the ones that are grass, you know, not grass fed, but like pasture raised and all that stuff from the farmers at the farmer's market. There was a study in Mother Earth News showing that if you eat those, the difference between the two eggs are there's 2 times the amount of omega fatty acids in these types of eggs, 7 times more beta carotene, 3 times more vitamin E, and like 2/3 more times vitamin A. So it's like, it might be more expensive, but you're getting more out of them. Most raw foodists that I've seen, including myself, for many years, I still probably am, this whole food thing controlled me. It was like what I've gone through, and it's just crazy. To get to where I'm at on a raw food diet, I had to go through mayhem of being boxed in. Every little thing I would think about food. It's just, it could be ugly. Okay, here we go. Let's see what people are saying on Facebook. Ooh, we got lots of things here. Okay. Natalia Hay says, what causing anemia in person's vegan lifestyle? Again, because a person is vegan, a person can be doing one thing vegan, another person can be doing something completely different. Iron is important, and copper with iron, they kind of work together in producing hemoglobin to keep blood running all the way through everything. I would recommend making sure that you're getting iron. Vegetable juices are pretty important. I've heard people recommending blackstrap molasses to people with anemia because it's high in iron. What is the best way to get enough B12? If you're on a raw food diet, it's a bit more difficult. You could get it from eggs, like we were just talking about. In terms of supplements, I feel that our B12 patches are the best B12 products on the market. It goes directly into your skin. Do I have one on right now? It goes directly into your skin, bypassing all the digestive stuff and things like this. Patches are a very common thing these days. People are more into that lately. We have the best, most potent B12 patches on our website right now, and they're actually at cost till tonight. The at cost specials end tonight. So you can go on our website if you're interested in the B12 patches to get those. And you feel it. A lot of people feel it actually when you put it on. It gives you an energy boost. Is one cheat meal a week a good idea? I don't know. Like, there's a whole, I have to look at the entire realm of what a person's doing. Like, what is a cheat meal? For me, a cheat meal would be eating eggs. I don't do that, but I'm just saying, like, for me, a cheat meal being a chocolate ball, a raw chocolate ball. For someone on a raw food diet, maybe they do steamed vegetables. The possibilities are endless here. Okay, Jason Lubis, who I've known since 2nd grade, writes, yo, just had my first colonic. Have to keep going to the bathroom. Is that to be expected each time I get one? Should I double up on probiotics? Yeah, absolutely. Double up on probiotics like every single day right now, because are you still eating In-N-Out burgers? Or all right, Jason Lubis he's been my best friend since like 2nd grade. We were in the fraternity together and stuff like this. So Jason, what happened was when he was probably like 21, 22, he got in a major accident, and he had like a psoriasis disorder. Wasn't too bad. And then when he got in the car accident, it messed him up. He went on, I don't know what they gave him in the hospital, what kind of drugs and things like this. But anyways, His psoriasis turned into psoriasis, which is an autoimmune disease, which is extremely scary, and it's like the body attacks itself. And so I've been trying to convince him to do a cooked whole foods diet for years, and he says he wants proof or whatever, and then he goes online and sees stories about people actually healing from psoriatic arthritis by doing a raw food diet, and then he still decided to do what he's doing, which is totally fine. I'm not like judging or anything like that. I'm just trying to tell the background and story of what is happening with Jason. And so now he's saying he got a colonic, which I'm pretty wondering, like, that's cool. I think you should double up on probiotics, but colonics are extremely beneficial for healing the human body and detoxifying the human body. But even more important is eliminating the refined sugars and processed starches. And then once you do that, and you start getting irritated with the withdrawals of the addictions and things like this, and then you get sick sometimes when you improve your diet like this, then it's extremely beneficial to do a colonic. I'm not saying it's bad that you did it now, but it's like we want to kind of eliminate the best type of fast that anybody can do, or cleanse that anybody can do, is not a 10-day cleanse and then going back eating the same stuff you always ate, standard American diet. Yes, it's a good reset, but it's useless on one level, because you just cleanse for a minute and then you're going back to what you did. That's like saying someone who has cancer, they want to heal, okay, do a 10-day cleanse and then go back and eat what you used to eat. So it's like the best cleanse on the world is permanent dietary improvements. So you want to eliminate, maybe you don't want to like do everything right now. Maybe you just want to eliminate soda, or the In-N-Out burgers, or the refined sugars, the processed, something. But the goal is to eliminate the processed foods in the long run. And if you want to do in between, you don't want to do it all at once, you could do, okay, let's eliminate soda for now. And then we could go, the goal is to eliminate refined sugars completely. And then what happens is you start cleansing deeper. You're like getting old waste out. And this is when colonics can be extremely beneficial. It's like this. Let's say a person wants to get off of coffee. Okay, so what happens is the person doesn't start to get the shakes and the coffee headache and coffee breath until they eliminate the coffee completely, or they wean off. And the withdrawals is the stuff coming out of the human body. And that's what colonics do, is they come in and bring that stuff out. That's like the waste, the stuff that has been causing the issue in the long run. And it's the same thing with food. So when you start making these improvements, then the colonics can come into play. It's like saying, okay, I'm a coffee addict, and I'm going to continue to drink coffee every single day, and I'm going to do a colonic, hoping it's going to help me. But you're not going through withdrawals, so the clonic's just going to, what's it going to do for you? We're not going deep here. You're just cleaning out, you're doing a little bit of a cleaning, which is good. But the reason why colonics are so powerful in the health realm, for example, you go to a health food institute, they make you do enemas and colonics every day until you leave, is because you're eliminating everything from your diet but raw food, which is pretty much just water-rich foods. So it's like going on the detox diet. It's like a raw food fast. And so now you're outpouring waste, and the enemas expedite that process. You even pour out more waste. It unclogs all of your organs. So it's probably good that you did it, but the best thing that you can do is make permanent dietary improvements and keep going until you get to the cooked whole foods diet. And then colonics are so beneficial, it's unbelievable. Christy Lambert writes, what is your take on how mushrooms should be consumed? Okay. Okay, so mushrooms, it depends like what kind of mushrooms you're talking about. Are you talking about like mushrooms in terms of like you're gonna get mushrooms from the store and make a raw food dish with mushrooms? Like for example, the other day I made raw sushi. I kind of marinated mushrooms in aminos, coconut aminos, and then I strained it with a nut milk bag, and then it has like a fishy consistency. And then I put that in the nori and stuff like that. Or are you talking about medicinal mushrooms to where you can boost your immune system, among other things? Um, the mushroom products, if you're trying to boost the system, this is great. This aids in many different things. It's really good for candida, but we gotta, if you're gonna, to combat all of these things, the number one thing we can do is eliminate the processed foods. And then the body kind of just works itself out. But then we could do things to aid the process. For example, if you have candida and you're going full force, if you're taking like our reishi spore products, for example, which are the best immune boosting products in the world, then, and doing nothing else, yes, it's going to help boost your immune system, but is it going to kill the candida? It might help for a brief amount of moments, but the cause of the candida, we have to eliminate. We've got to, when you have candida, you've got to eliminate refined sugars and processed starches, these high carbs and stuff like that. If you're an alcohol drinker, you want to stop that for a bit. And then then we start taking things to support us at the same time. I'm coming out with a candida protocol in the future. It's probably a couple months away. We actually have, there's an herb out there, clinical studies to actually nail like all of the different types of candidas. And it's shatavari. We only have 100 left right now. That's why I'm kind of like trying not to say it. But clinical studies show that it actually does wonders against this. I actually have the clinical study and things like this. And to keep in mind, not all shatavari and herbs are the same. What we do is we have access to the same machinery that the pharmaceutical companies have. It's a 2-story machine, and it cold presses, micronizes these herbs like nothing else. And there's no herbs more potent than the ones that we have on our website, including shatavari, ashwagandha, shilajit, mukunya. You take ours, and then you take your favorite other raw food website, you buy their herbs, and then you try the difference. For example, if you take our bacopa, and if you take a half a teaspoon, they say that theirs is the same strength of bacopa, but for some reason, when you take a half a teaspoon of ours and a half a teaspoon of theirs, you become wired on ours because it's too much, and you get the runs. It's a completely different experience. There's no others in there either. No maltodextrin, nothing like that. So what we're coming out with are protocols with extremely potent herbs extracted the same way the pharmaceutical companies extract their stuff. Nobody in the health realm has access to these machines like we do. Later, Susan. She already took off. Okay. Matt, do you know anything about SIBO, small intestine bacterial overgrowth, and how to eradicate it? Well, we've been talking about this entire hangout. We're talking about the gut, the beneficial bacteria, and things like this. So the first thing is to eliminate refined sugars and processed starches, trans fatty acids, animal products that are with chemicals and antibiotics. We want to eliminate all these things. Another issue is people being on antibiotics cause issues also. So if a person has candida or any other issue and they take antibiotics for prolonged periods of time, maybe you want to take it for a certain time to get rid of strep throat or bronchitis. That's your choice, go for it. But if we start taking antibiotics on an ongoing basis, we become reliant on them and then they stop working and we have to up the dosage or do something like this. And then it becomes like a lifelong thing and we're not addressing the root of the issue, but addressing the symptoms. And that's the main problem there. But on top of that, the antibiotics not only kill the bad bacteria, but they also kill the beneficial bacteria in the human body, which also causes other issues in the long run, such as killing the good bacteria, possibly leaky gut syndrome happening, and different things like this. Birth control pills, probably not the best thing to take. So the first thing is to eliminate the crap, like we've been talking about. And then after that, feed the human body with natural fiber, chia seeds. If you're on a cooked whole foods diet, you could try the beans. You can eat lots of salads and raw food. And then all of a sudden, your good bacteria is going to proliferate and take care of things. If you are having issues, maybe the Arushi spore products would be extremely good for you to boost your immune system while you're doing this type of thing. The question is, my daughter eating raw eggs or cooked eggs? She's eating cooked eggs, and she generally just eats the yolk in an omelet. That's where all the goodness is, and that's where the cholesterol is, which we talked about in the first part of this hangout, which is the good cholesterol, which is food cholesterol, which has been poo-pooed on by mainstream, but there are no studies showing that it's bad for heart disease like they claimed, and it doesn't have any impact on your cholesterol levels. If a person starts eating egg yolks and they eliminate refined sugars and processed starches, ironically, their cholesterol goes down. I challenge anybody to do it. Good cholesterol is a precursor to cortisol, vitamin D. It helps with the brain health. Progesterone is a precursor too. Estrogen, testosterone, and so on. And I know I'm the raw food guy. I'm just trying to help people because most people watching aren't on raw foods. If that were the case, if everybody we're in a raw food world, I would be teaching raw food. But we're trying to get people healthy here. Do you recommend liver flushes? It's another cleanse. Better than a liver flush is eliminating refined sugars and processed starches from the human body. And then the liver will get a break and cleanse on its own. I also recommend enemas or colonics over a liver flush. In fact, when you do a liver flush, every expert who gives their liver flush thing, they say do the enemas and colonics before and afterwards. A lot of the time, you just cleanse your colon if you're on a healthy lifestyle. It unclogs the pressure because gas is a big pressure thing also. You eliminate the sewage system, gas and all these other things, and then all of a sudden your other organs can dump into the colon. My friend Jason, who did a colonic, says he's pooing nonstop afterwards. That's an extremely good thing, man, like crazy. And now it's just coming out like you pop the balloon and now it's just like, this is why when you do a colonic, all of a sudden your nose is cleared up. Why does your nose clear up? How does the colon have anything to do with the sinus cavity? It doesn't make sense. It does. It's the sewage system. Now it's clean. Everything can dump in there. The liver will dump in there. But if you've been doing this for a while and you want to do a liver cleanse, it works. I've done it. It dilates your liver just unloads, and it's pretty hardcore. You smell. Okay. Ooh, cool. Wanted to know about both, actually. Thanks, Matt. What does that say? Shatavari. Shatavari. I'll be talking about that more in the future once we get our next order, and I gotta get that settled. Okay, Stephanie writes, what ratio of portion fat and carbs do you recommend on a raw food diet? Hi from South Florida. Hey, Stephanie. Okay, now we're gonna jump into the raw food realm a little bit here. I'm not a big fan of the crazy amounts of high carb fruit. I think the fats are much healthier. I eat fruit every day on an ongoing basis, but I think I eat more fat than fruit. And I think that's very important. I don't do percentages or anything like this. I don't even look there. But yeah. Oh, it's been an hour and 11 minutes. Okay, Eva writes about raw food is, you got to give us more credit than that. We are here because we want more about raw food. Not all this talk about whole cooked foods. Raw fooders might be a bit wacko, but it's worth it. Okay, so Eva is almost 100% raw from the last Hangouts. I believe she was saying she eats still a little bit of cooked food, and I recommend that she stays there. But it's not necessary. Okay, so Eva, what I'm doing here is me and you and probably 10 other people watching this Hangout compared to okay, I would say 1 to 50 people out of the 1,000 people watching this Hangout right now are on this lifestyle hardcore. And then you got to kind of like understand where I'm coming from. Yeah, we can have more credit and stuff like this. It's definitely true. But you're not, it's like you're not in need of healing. You're there. You're eating a high raw diet, like 99.9% raw, 98% raw. Your health issues have healed. You're doing everything you're doing. You're looking for support. That's great. So you're not in need of a physician. Now the other people, the 950 people watching who can't help themselves but eat refined sugar and processed starches, or they're trying to understand more to give them the understanding. I'm trying to help them get to a reasonable point to where it's doable for them. And what I do is I make fun of myself as a raw fooder in order to make it more enjoyable for everybody, all 950 people. And most of the 50 people who have watched me for years know I'm just kind of being funny. I don't think you're crazy. Well, I'm just kidding. I don't think you're crazy. I think I'm crazy a little bit, yes. It's just, I've been in this raw food realm for 20 years almost. And in the beginning, I was hardcore, sometimes even judgmental. And what I used to be, I can't stand. And so I tried to break it. It's like they think, I'm not saying this is you, because it's not, but I'm just trying to explain raw foods doesn't make someone better than someone else because they eat it 100% right. In most cases, including myself, we think we're doing better, but essentially we're not. What happened, okay, let me explain this. What happens is when you go on a 100% raw food diet, you drain the toxicity on a cellular level, like everything. We're even talking cooked whole foods gets drained out of you, like all those, the stuff that's, whatever you eat, you digest it. Fermentation occurs. And the more dense the food is, raw food is the least dense, cooked whole foods is the next dense, and standard American diet is the most dense. The more dense it is, the more fermentation is produced in the human body through digestion. It's natural. And then byproducts are carbon dioxide, which is a gas, which some people would think is toxic. But even on a raw food diet, you're producing carbon dioxide. It's just a matter of how much. So when you go on a 100% raw food diet, you cleanse out everything except from like the 95% water-rich foods, and it feels so good. Like focus, like you cannot believe. Like your sinus cavity becomes clear, like I've never experienced in my life. I did a colonic after I was doing this for like 3 months, and it felt like I was floating through New York City. It was like a trip. It was like, I thought at that moment in time, in order to be happy, it's like it was being like high, but then it becomes your everyday norm. But anyways, so you experience this, and then you think, oh, the whole world needs to experience this. You feel so good. And on a physical level, this may be true. But many times, this happened to me on a hardcore level, you become mental. You're physically feeling good, but spiritually, you become so boxed in to where you can't even do anything. And I ran into problems because of this, which I've talked about many times. I had this belief that if I ate this would be the reaction. I would go through withdrawals of that. I would create all of these different things to where I boxed myself down to eating once a day, addicted to enemas for over 10 years, dependent. I haven't done it in 2 years. Dependent spiritually, not physically. It's like you become addicted, like, oh, I need to always feel this good. Oh, I have gas. I can't be eating that. I've got to maintain this high. And it becomes this mental sickness. And you think you're doing good, but in essence, you're spiritually not doing good. Judging another person, which many raw fooders do, which I did in the past, is bad for a person. Not for the person you're judging, but they feel it spiritually. And it sucks. It's like an attack that we're doing on that person. They feel it. It's like, oh, why do I have to experience this? Because I want to eat the way I want to eat. But there's repercussions spiritually. There's a cause and effect if we judge. And a lot of the time, here we go into a spiritual life. I'm always talking about foreign thoughts that are not necessarily our own. So a lot of the time we're tested to where it feels like we're judging someone, and we got to battle to not judge them. And it might not necessarily be us, but it's always like fight. And this is how we become stronger. And it has to do with all of, it's not just judging about raw food. It has to be judging about anything. Like a guy who works out, like all ego, and they're judging someone else who doesn't do their exercises. It's like the energy comes and you either give into it and feed it and continue the judging, or you like take a seat down and be like humble. And it feels like you're judging, but you're doing everything in your power not to. And that's the battle, spiritual battle. So it's like you're not doing anything wrong when you're battling, because you're doing everything in your power not to judge. This is how we improve ourselves. This is like spiritual attacks a lot of times. So it's like, as soon as judging comes in, it's like, I don't want that because there's repercussions. That just was a little side thing. So back to so why I do it has to do with this addicted to physical feelings. And it has a spiritual aspect to it because it gives you more focus and you feel really good and you have the potential. It's like a doorway to where you can go further spiritually, but so is yoga and all these other things. The thing is though, for 15 years, I didn't jump into a spiritual path. I thought I jumped into a spiritual path as soon as my third eye opened. After a year being raw, my third eye opened after doing this crazy cleanse that I've talked about most of the time. I'm not saying it was the cleanse that did it. Creator chooses what happened. I just thought it was at the time. All of these things started happening to me. And because I felt these physical vibrations, this third eye thing, I would meditate, and I got so good at meditating that I started falling asleep aware. Lucid dreaming. It felt like astral projection because I fell asleep aware. I'd leave my body, it felt like. I would be able to focus and try to clean up everything to where I would experience moments of bliss. And because of all of these things, raw food was the doorway to experiencing these things. But all of these things that I was experiencing, I thought I was spiritual. However, 5 years ago, probably 6 years ago now, as many people know, I got lost in into greed and lost everything I had in the business 6 years ago. I had a good intent, was teaching raw food and helping people, but I got lost along the way 6 years ago. This had to do with this whole audio clarity thing that happened 6 years ago. It has nothing to do about the actual product. It had to do with the greed aspect. And then what happened was I started doing marketing things about how to become successful. And it was shortly after that, we're talking days after I started putting newsletters out like that, to where I lost everything I had. You think this was by chance? So here I am I'm on the raw food diet. I'm experiencing more spiritual things. I can meditate. I was doing astral projection, which is not recommended. You might want to play in that loop. I did for 2 years, but spiritual energy gets drained very easily when you do that. But I was playing, it seemed like I was a spiritual person. I was experiencing spiritual. However, I got lost into greed. Totally wasn't even on my path of doing what I'm doing now, of helping people heal themselves from disease, heal spiritually, heal physically. But 6 years ago, would you consider me a spiritual person, a person who was lost in greed? It's just another example. It doesn't matter. Raw food has nothing to do with spirituality. So what happened was, it came to a point 6 years ago, a messenger came to me and I was told, Matt, what do you want to do? Do you want to take this path and continue to do what you're doing? Or do you want to take this path, which was the true spiritual path? And I'm like, okay, I'm going that way. That night after this messenger came to me and I did that and I went that way, I refunded 2 million, lots of money. I lost everything in happiness 6 years ago, 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. And I liked this path so much because it was like an awakening. It was like I was shown signs almost. I was blessed to see that. And we're all shown signs all the time, but it just gets dismissed. And so here I am, loving this so much. I just said, this is the number one most important thing to me. I want to go all the way with this. And I said, I care about everything else, but nothing is more. I'm willing to sacrifice everything everything for this path. And that's what I've done for the last 6 years. I've had to prove myself through trials and tribulations. This business should not be standing right now. It does not make logical sense. Holding on to a string of faith. If I would have gone the other way, I don't even know if I'd be here anymore. Jesus Christ saved my ass. Anyways, so in terms of spiritual, I don't care if you meditate 10 hours a day. I don't care if you are seeing other realities. I don't care if you're on a 100% raw food diet, clean as can be, experiencing vibratory, ethereal stuff like I for the last 20 years. It does not make you a spiritual person. This whole meditation, Eastern, whatever, it has a purpose because it teaches you how to do the spiritual work, how to do the work in the spiritual world. But the question is, are you going to use it for good or bad? And if meditation was the key to enlightenment, why isn't everyone becoming enlightened? Why aren't we enlightened? If we're meditating, we should be enlightened. That's what the Eastern gurus teach. This aspect, which some people call meditation, there's a difference between the two. You got to be careful between the two, is critical in terms of like doing this type of work, which we've talked about in all of these hangouts. But if you want the key to enlightenment, let's just do this. We've made it this far. Let's just do it. Many of us, oh, do I want to go? All right, let's do it. Okay, many of us are doing many things unconsciously. We're human. We can be doing better. I can be doing better. You can be doing, we all can be doing better. And a lot of the time, we don't even necessarily know that we can be doing better. We think we're like saints. When in actuality, it's the complete opposite. So for example, maybe we continually judge on an ongoing basis, but we're so used to it, we don't even realize we're doing it. Or maybe a person says they're all about helping people, but underlying they're all about fame and greed. Or maybe like we're always wanting to have power or being right or whatever it is. A lot of the time we don't even realize that we're doing this type of thing because it's almost like part of our reality. We're doing it on an ongoing basis. And this is why this focused work can be important, because we can actually recognize it. It's almost like as soon as greed or any of these things come into the reality, my reality, I'm just like on it like a viper. I'm ready to kill this thing. Like I do everything spiritually in the most logical way to get it out. I'm not saying I'm perfect in all realms and things like this. Okay, so so we can all be doing better. Maybe we're addicted to sex. We're a married person. We're just like looking at that girl or that girl or that guy or whatever it is. I'm not saying that's easy, but I'm just saying we could all improve. And as long as we're trying to become a better person, this is one of the major spiritual keys. And in order to become a better person, we have to become more conscious through focusing. Because how can we change without focusing, which enables us to look at our entire reality and actually see the greed, See the addiction to that. See the judging we're doing. Most people don't do any focus, and they're just like in these things on an ongoing basis without any. So this focus work is important. It's the number 2 most important thing. The number 1 most important thing is this. The number one, what I'm going to show you right now is the number 1 thing that a person can do for spiritual growth, and the number 1 thing a person can do in order to heal disease. This is like the number 1 thing to make a miracle happen. And I have literally seen miracle after miracle after miracle happen. I've seen people heal from cancer instantly on a spiritual level. Like all of these things. I've seen amazing things happen. And this is the number 1 secret. Again. Up into this moment, I have been doing this, this, and this. I had no idea that you were watching every last thing I did. And I had no idea that this was impacting my spiritual growth. I am sorry. I am so sorry. Up until this moment, I did this, this, and this. From this moment forward, I am going to be doing this, this, and this. I see now. I am so 100%. There's nothing more important to me than doing this, this, and this. It's already done. I'm already done. My number 1 most important thing in my life is to be a better person and do this, this, and this, and follow your way. Please consider me to move forward spiritually in the most gentle and easy way possible. Please consider to help me heal from disease. I am a new person. I want this so bad. I am going to change. I'm going to do everything in my power. Please show me how to heal. Please heal me and show me how to stay healthy. If you do this and perform it on an ongoing basis, make this choice over and over again, I'm telling you, the frills you get from meditation, the glimpses of this hologram that you get is nothing compared to becoming enlightened. It's making that choice and staying with it forevermore, which is enlightenment. There's a door, there's a wall here, and the person who meditates goes up to this wall and gets smacked down. It's like this ongoing loop. They think they're doing spiritual growth because they see that or they see this glimpse or whatever, but they keep getting smacked down. But it's not a wall, it's a door. And only one can open that door. And that is the creator. And then once that door opens, the possibilities are endless. And that is enlightenment. Buddha became enlightened before he died. Enlightenment was simply the door opening, and that's the beginning of the spiritual path. It's not the end. And then the possibilities are endless. And I'm telling you right now, there is nothing, no frill, no sex, no anything, no greed, no worry that is better than the experiences you get. Imagine having a disease just like, oh, thank you. Anyways, so for the last 6 years, it's been trials and tribulations, holding on to a string of faith to, we shouldn't be alive here. Refunded, lost everything, no finance, ended up in a lawsuit and lost, was audited and lost. Everything was just taken away. Everything, every time there was light, just boom, boom, boom. It doesn't make logical sense. Loans and this and that. Anyways, we're getting to the point where I feel like we're going to be seeing amazing things. And as I stated at the beginning of this Hangout, we are in the process of restructuring our entire business on the inside. Back orders are going to be a thing of the past. If we're 1 to 2 months away from this, our website won't even allow it. We're going to have we have the benefits program. It's going to stay there, but we're going to have a loyalty program where you can get points and all. That's probably 3 months out. But it's going to be such a high-end, professional, glitch-free system. It's going to be amazing. And we are literally just a month or 2 away from this. Okay. So what happened here? Okay, let's read what we've got people saying. Thanks, that's powerful. Thanks for sharing. Hi, Matt Monarch. Were you raised with any religion? Yeah, I was raised, I mean, I wasn't like Orthodox or anything, but I was Jewish. My brother was bar mitzvah, I wasn't. Yeah. I'm not gonna go deeper. It's not about religion here. Okay. We've left the raw food realm here. Okay, so me personally, if you look at Christianity and things like this, and you look at the churches and stuff like that, I'm not saying all of it, but I'm not a big fan of what's going on over there. I'm not going to go deeper than that, but that's what I have to say about that. Now, if you start getting into, like, okay, if you start studying like all like stuff about shamanism and witchcraft and black magic and things like this, in these witchcraft circles and black magic circles, what they do is they use a particular name within these circles because it works. It's the only name that actually has power behind it. Nothing else works. And that's the only reason they utilize it, because it actually enables them to do certain things within those circles. And they don't use Buddha, they don't use Krishnamurti or anything like that. What they do is they use the name Jesus Christ. Now, you heard me say that a few minutes ago. Again, Christianity, I'm not Christian. I don't go to church. In fact, I would never go to church. I'm not into religion at all or anything like this. But there is a structure, a hierarchy in the spiritual world. And I've gone way beyond than I wanted to here. And the ultimate shortcut and making miracles happen, and the highest of all is saying further, because people get all angry and stuff like this. It's just what is. There is a structure, and that's what is. And you can, whether you believe in the structure or not, doesn't change it. But it can impact your reality in a huge way. And in these hangouts, I usually don't go into spiritual lately. I usually do the physical stuff now. In the earlier hangouts, if you want to listen to spiritual stuff, I used to do it like nonstop. That's all I did. But since we're here, we're here. If you want to go watch those, you can watch those. But there have been things that I've stated that how can I have even known these things? I was given it by, that is the #1 most important thing to me. Nothing is more important to me. This is what I do. This is, everything else is secondary. I don't want to go any further because I don't want to, just like I don't, for the raw food realm, I don't want to like push people away. It's the same thing here. I don't want to push people away. Okay, let's read here. How do you feel about Fred Bishi raw food diet? It's very simple. Fred Bishi has been on a raw food diet for 55 years. You could go see him at Fred Bishi, B-I-S-C-I. He taught me a lot in my earlier years. I'm really good friends with him. His diet is excellent. It eliminates all processed foods. He has a very high success rate in helping heal people from cancer. I would definitely recommend his whole foods diet. It's very simple and extremely good. Okay. Hi, Matt. I've been introduced to SN Gospel and really liked it. It has a lot to do with the lifestyle. I find it to be true. That's awesome. That is awesome. Okay, so Eva, back to this. You got to give us more credit than that. I think I kind of explained all of that to you. Okay, so Andrew Yu, who I got to be extremely careful with, because he asks me spiritual questions all the time, and sometimes it's like a little. Okay, when you say connect with the creator, do you mean trying to still the body and mind? Can you elaborate? It's kind of what we just talked about. Stilling the body and mind is doing this type of focus work. And this has been taught. And then what Eastern mystics do is they utilize this one aspect to get you to experience things and then follow them. It's like, what is their goal? They're not pointing you straight up. They're pointing you to themselves a lot of the time. I'm not saying all of them are like that, but that's, you see, like me, or I'm not saying I'm good or anything, but what I'm telling you right now is I'm not looking to be worshipped or anything. I'm saying go. I don't want anything to do with it. So they utilize a part of the spiritual truth, and then what happens? Okay. Hi, Matt. Do you think it's smarter to take Tylenol when you get a coffee headache from withdrawals? Or would you just wean yourself off the coffee, drinking less and less a day until you don't get a headache? Okay, so there was this girl who, this woman who came to our last retreat, and she stopped coffee the entire time. She said she was, I'm gonna write her. She said she was done with coffee forever after the first day of the retreat, and she heard the talks and stuff like this. She stopped coffee completely, and in the middle of it, she asked a question: how do I deal with the headaches and stuff like this? It's like too rough. And I was just honest with her. I'm like, through it, or go get some coffee to slow it down and wean yourself off. But she kept going. She was doing the enemas that can aid the process of getting it out. And she made it through without doing coffee. Tylenol is not something I recommend to help with the coffee headache. Magnesium I would recommend. Magnesium has been shown to help, like maybe Natural Calm, that product, have the same effect as Tylenol. There was an herb, what was it? It's one of our herbs that actually does the same thing without the harmful aspects. But if you're going to do Tylenol temporarily and you think that's going to help you, I wouldn't. Hi, Matt. Is it okay to refrigerate dragon's blood? I've never tried that. I think it's okay. Me personally, I just don't refrigerate it. I just keep it on the shelf. Hey, Elena. Turmeric ginger, Paul says. Yeah, absolutely. Turmeric will probably do the same type of thing also. And there's another one. Okay. Gio writes, okay, Matt, do you feel any resonance with the pull we get from the solar system, the planets and moon? I have studied astrology, and our time of birth really seems to relate when it comes to people's personalities. No talking about silly daily readings, but the planets and how they align with our zodiac sign make up our personalities. We are part of the universe, so I believe in how the planets and moon influence. Any thoughts, belief on this? Yeah, absolutely. There is some major legitimacy to the whole entire astrology aspect. But what happens is you can transcend it. You can either be bound to it or transcend it. It's like transcending your animal instincts. You can either be bound to sex or anger, or you can transcend it. For example, when we get pissed off, we all have done this many times. This is like doing spiritual work. We get angry, our children are around, and we focus, and we just like, we hold it to where we focus until the anger is gone. We did the spiritual work to not like go live it and throw this cup across the room like you wanted to. That is doing the spiritual work. You transcended the animal aspect of the human body. Some people take the glass and throw it against the wall. They didn't do the spiritual work to not get angry. And don't get me wrong, there's been times recently where I would throw something against the wall. But a lot of the time I can control myself and stuff like this. So it's the same thing with the, from my perspective, about the astrology thing. We can either allow it to bound us, or we can transcend it and move on and not be like that. All right. Alex says, do you know what causes muscle spasms? I love your spiritual rants, by the way. Muscle spasms can actually be a lack of magnesium a lot of the time. So maybe you'd want to take Natural Calm. That's a really good product to help with stuff like that. And then there's a whole other aspect. Are you eating good stuff or bad stuff and things like that? All right, we still got a high viewing today. Towards the end of the Hangout, we still got some time here, but my rant didn't pull too many people away. Okay, oh, it looks like I missed some stuff. Ozonate meat to purify it for all that junk. I would try to get meat that is already clean without having to ozonate it. Maybe do that even after it's clean. The key is to get a really good source. All right. Okay, Stella writes, you skipped many questions from an hour ago. Will you backtrack? Where did I miss that? Post them here. Oh, wow. Wait a minute. No, we answered this. Feel free to ask questions, guys. Repost the question, because I hit everything. Yeah, I answered all these. Okay, this is one. I didn't see this one. YouTube or something. I don't see them on YouTube. Okay. This is one. Your whole food list says grains and legumes, steamed or sprouted. So does that mean do not boil them? Does steaming fully cooked legumes? Please advise. Okay, so what we've done is we've created a diet, a whole foods diet. If you go to news.therawfoodworld.com/live, on the right here, you will see a diet. It says whole foods diet. Click there. There's a lot of diets out there today, and I'm sure you've heard of many of them, such as the Zone diet, the macrobiotics diet, the South Beach diet, all these other diets. And all the creators of these diets claim to get results. They say people heal from disease, lose weight, and all these other things. And to be honest with you, I've seen people do all of these diets and heal from disease and lose weight. And there's one common denominator on why they all succeed. They all eliminate certain foods from their diets completely. And the crazy thing about it all is they all eliminate, every diet out there that works, all eliminates the exact same foods, which are the processed foods. It's the back of the industry, as I was saying. Every one of these natural doctors that you look up online all recommend the same thing. Eliminate the processed crap. That is the key. But then everybody comes out with their own beliefs and they vomit it all over you. They say, oh, but this whole food might not be the best because it has citric acid in it, or this one might not be good because, or this one is good, blah, 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 blah. But don't get too caught up in that. The key is just to eliminate the crap. And what we did was we created a diet, the most abundant possible, all for free. You just go to that link and click the diet right there. If you can eliminate everything from your diet but what's on this list, which includes animal protein, chicken, fish, turkey, baked potatoes, brown rice pastas, brown rice cakes, corn even, you want to do non-GMO stuff or to stay away from it completely, steamed vegetables, beans, raw food, goat's milk, goat's cheese, goat's, all that stuff. If you can eliminate everything from your diet but what is on this list, congratulations, you did it. You have the potential to be pharmaceutical drug-free in the long run, disease-free, senile-free, incapacitated-free. It's like living a healthy whole life, and with more energy, more focus. Okay, so the question is, your Whole Foods list says grains and legumes, steamed or sprouted. So does that mean you can't boil them? You can boil them. Just steaming fully cooked legumes, please advise. Yeah, you could boil them. I think you could boil them. Just optimal would be steaming. Because you're keeping a lot of the nutrition. I'm guessing it's not gonna be as cooked and stripped. And David DeLuca has joined the Raw Food World Hangout on Facebook. We were talking about you, David, how you finally posted some videos today. Okay, maybe you can give me an update, Dave, so I can see what's going on with you. Are you drinking alcohol again? I'm just kidding. I know everyone's saying you're doing good. Rod DeLuca here, back in California, 40 pounds lighter. Back in California, huh? Wow. You back with your children yet? Wow. 40 pounds. That's awesome. How many pharmaceutical drugs you on? Give us the update, and I'm going to tell everybody right now. We got David DeLuca online, everybody. Okay, so he laughed out loud and said no booze. That's good. Are you still 100% raw? And how many pharmaceutical drugs are you on? And how's your neuropathy? There's something else I wanted to say about the Whole Foods list. He's still raw, 4 pills a day. That's awesome. Still 100% raw. All right. And what about your family? Can kombucha be included in a raw food lifestyle? Diane writes. Yeah, that's good. It's good for the, right? Don writes, help with asthma. What to use instead of inhalers? I try to stay away from that type of thing. Okay, so many of these natural doctors online, before we say this, check with a healthcare practitioner before making any changes. I'm only sharing opinion based on personal experience during these live hangouts. Okay, so since your daughter is doing unschooling, what stuff are you teaching her? Okay, so back to Dawn, helping with asthma. Back to you, Amber. I'm not an expert in what to use instead, but the key is to get the diet perfectly in line to where you can get to the point where asthma isn't really an issue. I believe that this is possible. And inhalers, many of these doctors have said, aren't necessarily the best for the microbiome. But what you might want to do is like do some research online and like look for replacements and things like this. And this is like a very dangerous thing in many people's minds. For example, if someone gets strep throat or bronchitis, if you don't go on the antibiotics, then you can die. Like your family member would be like, you're not listening to the doctor? This is, if you're improving your diet, that's like the root of the issue. And then enemas and colonics, when we're sick, can bring us through the other end. We're pulling all the waste out on an ongoing basis. If you feel like you need antibiotics temporarily through something like that, then that's what you got to do. Okay, so let's see here. David writes, everyone is great. Ordering my Norwalk to get everybody juicing with me. That's cool. He's also got a salad bar and stuff like that. Okay. Scientists have now found that drinking, oh, come on, dude. I'm not even going to say that. Okay, Amber Leon writes, since your daughter is doing unschooling, what stuff are you teaching her? Okay, my daughter is 4.5, and we haven't really taught her anything yet. We're probably not going to do anything for another year or so, but then we'll start teaching her to read and write and things like that. Hi, Matt. Great picture of your sweet baby dolls on Facebook. Yeah, I just put a picture of me and my daughter Leandra, who is now 5.5 months, almost 6 months. Oh no, 5 months and a week. Leandra is, dude, she is just, let me tell you, amazing. Do you feel it's important to supplement babies with D3? I've read that babies breastfeed need additional D3 to prevent rickets, and a pretty high amount too is suggested. Dude, my daughter is so healthy. It's unbelievable. She's so beautiful. I would never give her D3. We live by the equator. There's, she's in the sun. Vanessa loves that pic. Also, I know someone that has a spot in her back that will not heal. Has a continuous scab. It is itchy and sometimes burns. I truly feel it's skin cancer. It's been there for 5 years and starting to become more irritating. What do you recommend to do to heal this? Thank you so much. Well, the first thing, I would not tell her that you think it's skin cancer, because there's a whole mental aspect when it comes to something like that. This is like, I gotta be careful where I tread here, because to explain my reasoning for this, I'd have to talk for 20 minutes straight. And I've done it in many Hangouts already. And we're already at 10 o'clock here. The key is to make a lifestyle change in order to heal anything. And it's not only when you make a lifestyle change, even if it's completely dietary, you are doing more of a lifestyle change. You're doing more than just dietary. So your friend probably, like, okay, so here's your friend. Mary Jo, if you're still listening to us, just, are they eating processed foods? Put that there if you know that. I'm gonna assume until I hear from you that they're eating lots of processed foods. So the key is to eliminate processed foods, refined sugars and processed starches. And then the body miraculously heals itself. Unbelievably, incredibly amazing, eliminating processed foods. Just doing this, I've seen thousands and thousands of people heal from all sorts of diseases across the board. Skin issues like this. I've seen people with rheumatoid arthritis. So when you do this type of dietary lifestyle, you're choosing to change your current way of life. You're willing to leave your current lifestyle into a new one. Because when you embark on a new dietary lifestyle, you are going against the norm. Your family, your friends, you can't go to restaurants without them looking at you weird. People are gonna try to, in the name of like, oh, I'm so glad you're doing this, and like, oh yeah, but down here, like on the inside, they're like, you could feel this judge. You see what I'm saying here? That one thing is said, but the entire feeling is something completely different. You're going to be attacked from it. The doctors are going to say something. Your family is just going to like lash out of nowhere saying you shouldn't be doing this. Like all of these different things. And in order to succeed, you have to drop your old way of life and move forward. And when you do something like this, all of these spiritual ties, in order to get past this, you have to do spiritual work and fight to get to the other end. And amazing things happen spiritually and physically. Your entire body drains of toxicity. So the raw food diet is extremely powerful in healing people from disease. So it's the whole entire lifestyle change that your friend would want to embark on here. Or if they're not willing to do the root of the issue, if they're not willing to make the dietary lifestyle change, the person with the scab who's itching it all the time, they're not willing to do that. So what is the other route? We could scare them into saying it's cancer. They go and then the doctor says it's cancer and then they believe it's cancer and then they freak out. Or you let them continue on. They seem not to be bothered by it. I mean, it bothers them a bit. It burns, it's itchy, but they're still living their life, it sounds like. But you kind of like eyeing it and you're kind of concerned and stuff like this. They're not willing to do the dietary change anyways. So it's like we got to let it be and we got to drop like the hints to go raw, or to be cooked whole foods and Don't say like, well, you can do whatever you want, but I'd be like, we could probably heal this if you do eliminate this and this and this, like gently, slowly. They say you healed from this, and well, that's my viewpoint. Some people are too weak to do it. My dad told me that you weigh 300 pounds here, or 290. You wheeze as you walk. Like, why can't you do a cooked whole foods diet? And then he says, I'm too weak. I just can't do it. He's honest with me. I'm his son. He loves me more than anybody else on the planet. So he just is straight out honest with me. What can I do about that? So I'm just like, so everything in my power is like, he's consciously choosing to do that. So I'm done. There's nothing I can do. So I have a good relationship with him. And then I came up with a plan that I talked about last week. Oh yeah. But before this plan, for a couple of years, I just let it be. I mean, this man, 76, he was 300 pounds, wheezing as he walks, can't hear anything. I wasn't sure how much longer I was gonna have with him, but I was just like really chill with him and cool and happy. I'm not gonna judge, I'm happy, he's my father, whatever. So I went through that for 2 years, like I just accepted it. And then I just came up with the most amazing plan in the world. And then he lost 50 pounds. And now he's on a cooked whole foods diet. Yep, my plan worked. What I did was I went online and I typed in nutritionist in Orange County, and I looked for the hottest, most beautiful nutritionist there was. And there was this blonde woman, and I'm like, Dad, I will pay for you to go to this woman and let her teach you to be the letter. She's gonna come to your house. She's gonna rip out all the bad crap and tell you exactly what to buy, and just do it. I showed her her picture on the phone. It worked. So now he sees her weekly. It's not a sexual thing, but you know, he's like a big teddy bear, and you know, it worked. So David DeLuca said, yes, it is. It healed almost all my diseases, even got Zika virus in Acapulco, but because I was raw, I think I healed faster with very little symptoms. David, why do you think that you had Zika virus? Because I'm thinking you didn't. Does Zika virus even really truly exist? Who told you had Zika virus? And did they diagnose you with Zika virus based off of a test that actually showed that you have Zika virus in your blood? Or was it based off of symptoms, which I believe it was? I am betting that they did it based off of symptoms. If I'm wrong, let me know. But they can literally diagnose you and give you pharmaceutical drugs for the rest of your life based off of symptoms without any physiological proof on many diseases that you actually have the disease. For example, Lyme's disease and fibromyalgia are based primarily all off of symptoms. They cannot test and prove that you have it. But people see the internet, oh, I have symptoms, oh, something's wrong with me, but we were talking about this earlier. David DeLuca says he went to the doctor and it was based off of symptoms. Dude, you're sitting here, you've lost like 40 pounds in a month. It's apt to happen. You were running, dude, you couldn't even walk well. And you were running up hills at the retreat. You did a hike that I have difficulty doing. And you couldn't even walk up half the mountain after that. At some point, you're probably gonna like go through a cleansing attack. Or maybe in keto, you drank some water, you got like a little bacteria thing, and it takes 10 days, 2 weeks sometimes to get over something like that. Dude. The best time to do enemas frequently is when you're sick. It might what happens is your body is, a lot of the time, I'm not saying every single time, maybe you did get a virus. Maybe that's what the case is. But it would be still, considering your situation, it might be a good thing because your body has a lot of cleansing to do. Did you do any enemas during that time? Okay. Thank you, Angela Lynn Reed. Vanessa, it is only diagnosed by symptoms. I think there are tests. So does the Zika virus even exist really? How can they even know it's Zika because you have symptoms? Symptoms can be anything. That too, drink a sip of water out of the tap in Quito hotel. Right, we're not gonna analyze what's going on here. I'm just trying to prove a point about this thing that's going on here. So real quickly, we gotta go, I know. Placebo. I'm always talking about the placebo effect. People have healed from all sorts of diseases based on belief. Seriously, from even cancer. They take a pill because they're told it's gonna heal them from cancer and they heal, even though it's empty. It's just sugar. So the danger of the placebo effect is it works against us also. So you're told that you have the Zika virus based off of symptoms. They can't even prove that you have the Zika virus, but they could say, let's just say the Zika, I haven't even read much about it, but I'm guessing they say it's very dangerous and deadly. You believed it so much and it acts as a placebo working against you. Because the doctor said you have Zika virus or Zuka, Zika, whatever it is, and they just did it because you have this issue that tests symptoms. It's like this. You experience, you're going through some crap right now. You're ill, right? On the inside, I'm healthy. I'm healthy. Like this is gonna be done. Keep that fear crap out. I'm just telling for everybody. I'm not talking to David now. In shamanistic traditions, they state that if a person has a spiritual opening, then things can come in through the opening and latch on and actually cause the physical ailment. And what is a spiritual opening? If a miracle can happen based off the placebo effect, a miracle, straight out belief, faith, what about the opposite? And then also, we're not gonna. Okay, David writes, bounce back very fast. Don't think I would have pre-raw food. Now at gym daily, hour elliptical, feeling awesome. That's awesome, David. That is sweet. I'm so proud of David. I'm happy for him. Anything else, David, you want to share with us? So you're back with your family now? You have the salad bar going, or are you on your way to your family now? And have they improved their diets? Inquiring minds want to know. December raw food retreat coming at you. It's going to be amazing. Come join us this December over the holidays. If you're going to come, you want to book your tickets early for the plane tickets, because the closer we get to the holidays, the higher the price of the tickets go. December is going to be amazing. There's a lot of inquiries. It's just going to start going. We're waiting for David DeLuca. Is he going to write anything back? What else can I share in the meantime? What we have right now is expert programmers revamping, restructuring our entire inside of our business. We are making it so back orders can't even happen anymore. David wrote back. It's going to be a glitch-free, flawless system. And this is 1 to 2 months away. I'm excited as can be. Shopping experience. Shopping experience is good, but it's just going to get incredible. Okay, so David's back in Sacramento. Salad bar up and running. My son's starting and will document on Raw DeLuca channel. Wow. What about your wife? Let's see what's going on. It's good. All right, guys. People are still here. People are still here. What else have I learned about lately that I could share? Just a brief summary. The numbers are dropping now. What they're saying, these natural doctors and people that are into brain health, neuro, something or other, they're saying that Alzheimer's disease can be reversed through diet. 50% of the cases can be reversed. And what they're saying is the ketogenic diet, high fat, eliminating refined sugars, not eliminating completely, eliminating refined sugars and processed starches completely. That's just a given. And just eating healthy fats. And then bam. All right, I think we're gonna call it quits, everybody. It's been a fun night. It is 10:20 in New York City, 9:20 here in Vilcabamba, Ecuador. Thanks for tuning in. And then David writes, go to start video. So it seems like even though David DeLuca hasn't put in a new YouTube video up for weeks and everybody's been wondering what he's been doing, he just put up a couple videos today. He is still on board. He's lost 40 pounds down to 4 pharmaceutical drugs. He's back at home. He's buying a Norwalk juicer. He's got his salad bar going. He's invested a lot into all this. And he's going full force. Check out Raw DeLuca on YouTube. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I could go all night. This is Mad Monarch. We'll see you next Tuesday. The at-cost specials are ending this evening. The coconut secret products are available. Maca, gelatinized maca. All of this month's at-cost specials. B12 patches. Tonight's the last night to get B12 patches at the at-cost pricing. What else? Let's get an update. let's give an update on the almond butter real quick. The almond butter situation. Oh man, I just got a picture. Okay, wait. This has just been crazy. We're trying to, if you got my newsletter today, we're trying to up the amount of stone grinders we're doing. And this picture is insane. I didn't think they were going to be able to do 40, but let's read it. Okay. Okay, so I didn't get an update. I don't know if we were able to do 40 stone grinders, but I have a picture here. Let me take a look. You guys, this is just so stressful to me. I have no idea. I need one of these white stone grinders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16. All right, I'm gonna have to find out more information. All right, guys, we'll see you soon. I need to finish this guy. Ending live video there, and then on Google Hangout. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and staying the interim.